Queen's Silver Jubilee Cup is up next for us. Group 1 contest, 1,400 metres is the trip, with Beauty Generation back to defend his crown. He's a two-time winner of this contest, Beat the Clock on both occasions. Beat the Clock comes in the back of 2 Group 1 wins this season. Thanks Forever was the horse he beat by a head last time out. Wishful Thinker, Vincent Ho jumps on board Wishful Thinker after finishing 4th to Beat the Clock last time and 6th the start before. And Kai Star, Jamie Spencer will be in the saddle. He's been a front runner in the past, Kai Star. He's dropping back from the mile for 14 as well. Thanks Forever is the horse that's been up at Chung Fa in the last 30 days. That's after his last start effort as well. We're at the touchscreen to have a look at the speed map and some key races here. Starting off with a speed map which has me thinking it could go a couple of different ways in actual fact, Tom, but it's got Thanks Forever and Hot King Prawn out in front. It
does. Thanks Forever, I think, was probably a little bit of a surprise leader last time out up on the pace. Where you see a horse like Hot King Prawn, he's never really led in any of his starts here, so it wouldn't surprise at all to see the roles potentially reverse here. And Thanks Forever, of course, is drawn on the outside of Beauty Generation, so it could end up being potentially that way round with Hot King Prawn. Kaying Master, he's got a little bit of a tricky draw to overcome, and Beat the Clock actually missed the start last time out, but still ran exceptionally well to win. But up front, could be a little bit perplexing to see what happens. We showed you the original speed map, but it potentially could be that way round. Yeah, interesting. Definitely, there's a couple of different options as to how that might play out. Before we get into the Beauty Generation and Beat the Clock form, let's hear from Sha Tin. He'll be riding Hot King Prawn right after Graham. Sorry, I've tried to jump in front of you there. We haven't looked at the track work yet, have we?
No, so let's do it. Here's Beauty Generation. I think he had to jump out from the stalls, which is not his usual preparation for big races, but you can see he's going keenly and aggressively. Inclined to agree with Tom. I'd be very much tempted to let him roll. Here's Beat the Clock. Nothing fireworks on the clock here, 25.6, 25.6, but a bit like Exultant. You know exactly what he's going to deliver in the afternoons. That's plenty. Super consistent, high-quality horse. Kaying Star is his head up, races a bit, works a bit keenly here. He has plenty to do with the likes of Beauty Generation last time. Coming back in trip now, but he needs a clear personal best even to get into the first 3 here.
All right, now we can go to the interview. Sha Tin on Hot King Prawn.
Karis, Hot King Prawn for the weekend, the big question. How do you think you'll go over 1,400 metres for the first time?
Yeah, I think should be no problem. The horse has been more relaxed recently, so I think Mr. Size has decided, to go to 1,400 and give him a go. So I think it's a good decision he's taken.
Looking at how you've ridden him both last time out and also in his recent trial, instead of leading, you've taken a sit. Is that to try to get him to run out these longer trips?
Well, of course, he has been very relaxed in his trial, and as before, he would show a lot of speed where he would run and maybe burn too much energy. You could see in the past, even if he's run in some of his races where he's bolted to the front, but he has never finished his race, all of them. Sometimes he's got lucky where he could skip away and won the 1,200. But to be honest, I think when he does take a seat, he's a better horse. He hits the lines better. You could see the International Day where he was box seat and he was finishing much better. So I think the 1,400 will give him a chance where he could find his momentum. He could relax a little bit more, and I think he'll be better.
Can he beat Beauty Generation and Beat the Clock?
It's a tough question, but he's a live chance. Of course, these are 2 big horses. You need to respect them. Of course, he's going to be very competitive also.
So Kara sort of indicating there that he's leaning towards taking a sit with Hot King Prawn. I think you can ignore him completely, but the trip is the question mark. Yeah,
it is the big question mark, whether he's going to see it out strongly. That's why I think they're probably best taking the sit with a horse like him, because he probably is going to be suspect at the 1,400 Graham.
Yeah, things you've never heard in Hong Kong. That Hot King Prawn really needs 1,400 metres. It's not good enough for him to produce his best form. He needs to improve for 1,400. I don't think any of us have ever thought that he's going to benefit from a longer trip rather than a shorter one.
All right, well, let's start with Beauty Generation here. This is last time out in the Stewards Cup. Ultimately, he was beaten, but it's Waikuku that beats him widest of all. They do clear away from the rest of the pack, which includes Kaying Star, who runs in 3rd place, and Rattan behind him at this stage in 4th.
Yeah, it was a great effort here from Beauty Generation. It looked like he had some of his old fight back here. The top two, Waikuku, Beauty Generation cleared out on Kaying Star. Ratton had to come off heels there, but just sort of at the last 150, I thought, yeah, he's really going to lift, and he did, because he only went down a very short margin. Graham.
And it's the space he puts on the likes of Kaying Star and Citron Spirit, who'd been finishing up close behind him. I think that was a definite step in the right direction for Beauty Generation. Not the same horse he used to be, that's clear to see. But good enough to go really close this Sunday, most definitely.
And over 1,400 metres, he's 5 wins from 6 starts. His big rival, of course, is Beat the Clock, and this is his last start effort, a good one, in behind horses at this stage. Other horses, Thanks Forever, mighty run from him in second place. Hot King Prawn runs third, and Wishful Thinker down on the inside, who sort of gets it, almost gets to the front, and then just stays on in the closing stages.
Yeah, Wishful Thinker. We know how good he is, and it's probably not quite good enough to figure better than about 4th or 3rd tomorrow. As for Beat the Clock, he does what he does best. He wins big races by narrow margins, giving the impression there is a bit more in the tank. Thanks Forever, different game plan here, forwardly ridden, ran an absolute screamer, but Beat the Clock is super consistent. He'll be produced fairly late. Can he get past Beauty Generation? He hasn't been able to in the last 2 years.
No, you look at their course and distance stats, and it tells you that Beauty Generation is a better 1,400 metre horse all round than Beat the Clock is.
We should touch on one more thing on Beat the Clock. Everyone considers him a hold-up horse. Go back to this race last year, Andrew. Zach jumped Beauty Generation out and went hard, and Jog jumped Beat the Clock out and drove him firmly to get into second. Wouldn't be at all surprising if those two jockeys take the view that we're the two elite horses here. Let's make it a race between us from a good way out.
All right, this is the final piece of morning work to look at. This is Kaying Star back at the trials. Jamie Spencer in the saddle, dropping into it.
Yeah, he's interesting, really. 2 runs, course and distance, 1 placing. He'll be up just behind the speed, one would think. I just don't think he's quite good enough here.
No, he's not gone on as well as I thought he would. He's had plenty of racing, and he hasn't got better of late. And he's got 5 lengths to find if he's going to go with Beauty Generation. So not for me.
All right, yeah, it's a solid trial, isn't it? But this is a different kettle of fish on race day. It'll be interesting to see what Jamie Spencer can do with him. So the big 2, Graham, who's the 1-2?
Heart says Beauty Generation. Head says it's going to be really tight. Head also says that Beauty Generation could have the edge here. I think it's going to be a humdinger of a race. Tactics and pace could be very important. I want to see Zach ask his old ally to go forward and go pretty hard. And as in the past 2 years, to try and draw the sting out of Beat the Clock. It's Beauty Generation from Beat the Clock. Maybe Thanks Forever, but Beauty Generation for me all the way.
Yeah, Beauty Generation for me as well. Number 1, 2, Beat the Clock, horse number 2. I think Ratton, he's certainly a player. He's got a really good course and distance record. 3 wins, 4 seconds, a 3rd and a 4th from 9. So he's never missed a top 4 course and distance. Ratton and Hot King Prawn on a minor line. 1, 2, 5 and 3, but the good cue there, 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's a real clash of the titans, isn't it? Heavyweights, Beat the Clock and Beauty Generation, but I've gone Beauty Generation as well. I thought Beat the Clock would be favourite. Beauty Generation has that honour at this stage. All right, that's the second of the Group 1. Still plenty more good action to come. We're back with race 8. That's up next.